According to experts, the earliest known evidence of the usage of bows and arrows is dated around 60,000 to 70,000 years ago in the Stone Age. Fast forward to the creation of the catapult in the 5th century BC. Fast forward again to the invention of the cannon in the 12th century China. And once again to the creation of missile technology by Wernher von Braun during World War II. Where I'm going with this brief history lesson is that humanity has learned that by striking at a distance with any type of force, especially explosive force, can provide not only a way of wounding foes, causing massive damage, but also cripple defenses. In BattleTech, especially in the Star League and Succession Wars eras, BattleMechs dedicated to causing long-range devastation provide value to a mech commander. The ability to strike at long ranges and indirectly at times gives the commander flexibility they need on the tabletop battlefield. While other BattleMechs such as the Bombardier, the Catapult, the Crossbow, and the Longbow can also fit this mold, they are outside this comparison. Each of those other mechs do roughly the same thing, unleash hell. But our subject today is more focused on a direct comparison between two variants of one particular mech chassis, the Archer. For a quick overview of the mechs, let's go to the tail of the tech. Both mechs hail from the Age of War era. The 2R is 39 points in Alpha Strike to the 36 points of the 1A. 1477 points in Classic BattleTech to 1269. Both fulfill the same role as a missile boat, and both have inner sphere technology. Let's start off by doing a direct comparison of each mech in Alpha Strike. If we look at both cards, we can immediately see that there's a little bit of difference between the two in terms of their stats. The Archer 2R has a movement of 8 to the movement of 6 on the Archer 1A. The TMM is the same and the size is the same. The roll is the same and the skill set's the same. Well, that makes sense because we're using the base skill of pilots here, which is going to be 4. Your damage brackets, they're pretty much equal. You can see here that the fact that the Archer 2R has 2 extra medium lasers does not really impact the stat line too much. They both have the same overheat value of 1. But when you get to the armor and the structure, that's where things change a little bit. The Archer 2R gains 1 extra additional armor and no additional structure. The 1A has 6 armor, 6 structure, to the 7 and 6 on the 2R. If we take a quick look at the special rules box, you can see that they both mirror each other up into the point that you can see that the 2R gains a rear firing attack. So that's going to be pretty helpful if someone tries to get in behind you and backstab you. It's a little bit of a deterrent. So outright, if I had to choose between the two and points weren't an option, obviously I'd choose the 2R. It moves 2 inches faster, can deal a little bit of damage in the rear, and has a little bit more survivability with 1 more armor. However, I think because the two variants are so close, and it's an obvious direct link, that I think if you want to fit an Archer into your Lance, but you're on a points crunch, I would think about subbing in the 1A over the 2R. So if you're on a budget and you want to shave a couple points off your list, definitely go with the 1A. But if points aren't a problem, or you want to build a Lance of archers or missile boats or whatever you want to do, yeah, go for the 2R. So let's take a look at Classic BattleTech. So here we go. Classic BattleTech. So the 2R on the left has a walk run cycle of 4 and 6, whereas the 1A has a 3 and a 5. So that shouldn't be any surprise to us, since we already know that in Alpha Strike, the 1A is slower than the 2R. We can also see that when we look at the weapons and equipment, that the extra 2 medium lasers are accounted for here on the stat line. Both carry LRM-20s, and then both have the arm-mounted medium lasers. So in Classic BattleTech, I would say it's as long as you're managing your heat, I think it'd be worthwhile to take the 2R over the 1A. Again, unless you're playing a particular era or theme, like your lance is nothing but primitive mechs, or you're on a points crunch if you're playing in a tournament. So again, going by the two of them, I mean, for me, it's a bargain to get the extra armor that the 2R is going to have and the extra weaponry for a measly 200 points. But I mean, it really comes down to personal preference and what you're trying to slot in. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is not a scientific comparison. So the rule of cool is something that, to me, is very important when I'm buying a miniature or toy or a movie. I am very susceptible to cosmetics. So for me, looking at both of these miniatures and then the line art that goes along with it, I love both of these. They both represent their supposed armaments. Like, you can tell that the LRM-20s are on both shoulders. You can tell that the medium lasers are where they're supposed to be. The cockpit is well defined on both. I mean, all the details are there. There's nothing hidden. There's no kind of like imagining that there's a weapon here or there's a antenna there. You can see it all, you can paint it all, it's tangible, and there's nothing left up to your imagination of where things are. So for me, for these miniatures, that's a big plus. Now, the Archer 1A miniature is metal, and it's from Ironwind Metals. And obviously the 2R, as I mentioned before, is plastic from the Kickstarter. I'm not going to really judge on what's better, plastic or metal. For me, plastic is not going to shatter on impact if I drop it off a table, which I have been known to do with my miniatures. I have a bad case of Butterfingers. So in terms of durability, I'm going to give it to the Archer 2R just because it's plastic. But the 1A, as long as you can pin it and it's secure and you don't drop it, it's a great miniature. So in terms of damage dealing, Alpha Strike, the damage that you're going to be dealing with the 2R versus the 1A is going to be negligible. They're about the same. In classic BattleTech, if you're managing your heat better, the extra 2 medium lasers might have a slight edge and be a big boon to you, especially if you're playing Succession Wars era or anything before that. Miniature wise, I mean, both sculpts are really, really good. The art is really good. The rules make sense for the mechs in both games, Alpha Strike and Classic. They basically feel like they are the same mech, just with extra guns taped on one of them. I would say I love them both. So for this versus, it's going to be a tie. I can't choose between these two children. They're my babies, and I love them both. So I think it comes down to what do you want to run and which one visually appeals to you more. Or if you're the type of player that buys one miniature and proxies for everything else, that's fine too. Just find the one that you like the most and play them both. Try them both out. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you like this video and want me to do more of these type of non-scientific comparisons, just let me know in the comments below. Have a great day.